Hey there, Buttercups! Welcome back to another fascinating episode. Have you ever noticed that February is a little, well, short? It is the only month that does not quite fit the mold. It is the only month with just 28 days, except in leap years, but we will get to that later. This makes it unique and a bit of an oddball in the calendar year. Why is February so special? Or should I say, so short? What is the story behind this peculiar month? It all goes back to ancient Rome, where things were a little, shall we say, chaotic. The Romans had a unique way of organizing their year. Buckle up, Buttercups, because we are going on a hilarious historical journey. The story of February is filled with twists and turns. The history of the calendar is full of surprises. From the way months were named to how days were counted, it is a wild ride. It was not always neat and tidy like the one hanging on your fridge. The calendar we use today has been through many changes. Oh no, the Romans like to keep things interesting. They had their own way of doing things, which often led to some confusion. Get ready for some calendar craziness. The story of February is just the beginning of our journey through time. Can you believe it? February was not even a thing in the earliest Roman calendar. They only had 10 months, starting with March and wrapping up with December. It is like they just said, winter? Nah, we're good. Let's just skip right to spring. Maybe they were onto something there. Winter can be a bit of a drag, right? But imagine trying to explain that to your friends when they ask about your birthday month. Oh, February? We don't do that here. Luckily, a Roman king named Numa came along and decided to fix this calendar chaos. This was during the time when Rome was a kingdom, before it became a republic. Numa realized that ignoring winter was not the best strategy. So he added January and February to the calendar, giving us the 12 months we know and love today. Numa was a smart guy, but he was also a little superstitious, and that's where things get really interesting for February. Superstition Strikes. Remember how I mentioned that the Romans were a superstitious bunch? They had a myriad of beliefs that influenced their daily lives, from the way they built their cities to the way they conducted their rituals. Well, they believed that even numbers were bad luck. Odd numbers were considered more favorable and were thought to bring good fortune and protection from the gods. And guess what? February, the poor month stuck at the beginning of the year, got saddled with 28 days, the only even number small enough to fit. This made February stand out as an oddity in the Roman calendar. Oh, and just for clarification purposes, March 1st was the beginning of the year for the old Roman calendar, just when spring starts. To make matters worse, February was also the month when Romans honored the dead. It was a time for solemn ceremonies and remembering those who had passed away, so it became associated with all things gloomy and a little bit spooky. The weather didn't help either, often being cold and dreary, adding to the somber mood of the month. Poor February, it just could not catch a break. It was a month filled with superstition, gloom, and a touch of the eerie, making it one of the least favored months in the Roman calendar. Julius Caesar to the rescue! Fast forward a few centuries and the Roman calendar was still a bit of a mess. The early Roman calendar, which was a lunar calendar, had only 10 months and a total of 304 days. This left a gap of about 61 days that did not belong to any month, essentially creating a winter period that was monthless. It was so out of sync with the seasons that they had to keep adding in an extra month called Mercedonius just to keep things somewhat straight. This extra month was inserted every few years to realign the calendar with the lunar cycle and the seasons. Can you imagine the scheduling nightmares? People never knew exactly when the month would be added, making planning and agriculture incredibly difficult. It was enough to make your head spin. The unpredictability of the calendar caused confusion and frustration among the Roman populace. Thankfully, Julius Caesar came along and said, "Enough is enough." He recognized the need for a more reliable and consistent system. He decided to adopt a solar calendar based on the Egyptian system. The Egyptians had a calendar that was more in tune with the solar year, which was approximately 365.25 days long. Most months got 30 or 31 days, which helped to evenly distribute the days throughout the year. But February, well, it was stuck with 28. This was partly because the Romans considered even numbers to be unlucky, and February was originally the last month of the year. However, Julius Caesar did throw February a bone. To account for the extra 0.25 days in the solar year, he added an extra day to February every 4 years. He decided to give it an extra day every 4 years, creating what we now know as leap years. This adjustment helped to keep the calendar year synchronized with the solar year. He also moved the months of January and February to the beginning of the calendar. Thanks, Julius Caesar, for giving February a little extra love. His reforms brought much-needed stability and predictability to the Roman calendar. And there you have it. The Julian calendar, named after Julius Caesar, was a significant improvement over the previous system. February's short length is a quirky reminder of ancient Roman superstitions and calendar chaos. The month has a unique place in history due to these fascinating changes. Plus, it is the only month that can sometimes have no full moon. How cool is that? This rare occurrence adds to February's mystique and charm. So next time you flip your calendar to February, take a moment to appreciate its unique and hilarious history. From its origins in the Roman calendar to its modern-day quirks, February is truly one of a kind.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback. And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get early access to our videos and where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits saying cheers and have a good day.